I want to show you the power of these PDF softwares for making audition cuts and for editing your music. So we're going to look at two examples. The first is going to be this arrangement of Jolene. Again, this is from Music Notes, and this particular arrangement uses multiple repeat signs. So we see that there's a first ending, you go back, a second ending, you go back, a third ending, dice al coda, and you go forward. Now, if you were to bring this into a lesson or a coaching after enough rehearsal, things are going to go really well. But if you bring something like this into an audition, you are rolling the dice. It's a tricky roadmap, so there's not a guarantee that it's going to go well. So what are some things that we can do in our own preparation that are going to secure us in the audition room? Okay, this is where this PDF software gets very, very cool. As you're doing this kind of work, I would always make multiple copies of this just by going Control, Duplicate. So then you have maybe the full version and then an audition cut version. Okay, so this is what we can do with, again, this software preview. I'm going to open two copies of this song. Because this section, these verses repeat so many times, I am going to copy and paste pages 3 and 4 two times. So we'll see 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Therefore, the pianist doesn't need to turn back at all, either in an audition binder or on their tablets. They can just continue to turn the page forward and play your song easy peasy. Okay, so to do this, again, I've opened up a second copy of this song, and I'm going to find, where is that? Pages 3 and 4. Going to take them and just drag them over into the other PDF. Just so you know, I always keep, you can hide the sidebar. I keep this up so I can see the thumbnails, so I can do this editing process. And I'm going to do that same thing again. So I'm going to take those pages 3 and 4 and add them right there. And hopefully that worked. So my page numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that worked out perfectly. Okay, so that's the first step here. I wanted to copy the pages so the pianist doesn't need to ever turn back. They just continue turning forward. But now this does get a little confusing because there's a first, second, and third ending. This is where the magic really starts. You're going to go up to this toolbar called Markup. Click that. You see that we have colors for these tools. We want to make sure that this color is always on white for this process, just like the paper. From there, we're going to go over to our Shape tool and select the Rectangle tool. It's like a giant whiteout marker. And we can do things like covering up first and second endings so it's really clear to the pianist what should be played. So we're going to only use the first ending this time. If we then go through the second verse, we're only going to use the second ending this time. So we're going to go back to our Shape tool, find our rectangle, and cover up the first ending, as well as the third ending, because this time we only want to see the second ending. All right. Finally, we'll skip ahead to our third verse, and that is where we will only use the third ending. So once again, we're going to go to our Shape tool, resize it, and cover up the second and third ending. Okay, now we have our complete arrangement ready for a lesson, a coaching, or an audition. Okay, once again, we'll review this. That's our page 1, page 2, 3 and 4, first ending, 3 and 4, second ending, 3, 4, third ending, DCL coda, and it goes on to the final page. Okay, you can then send this music to your pianist via tablet, or you can print it like this. Okay, this is the safer way to organize and edit your music for a performance or audition situation. Another example of how we can use the software Preview to help us with our music organization and our audition cuts. So we're going to go to Fall 2020. We're going to write an audition cut for The Beauty Is from The Lay in the Piazza. And first thing I'm going to do is duplicate this. So I have 2 copies of it. And maybe I can title this one, I didn't time this out, but 30-second audition cut. Okay, so I have my Lay in the Piazza full version, full song, and this other one is going to be the audition cut. You can print out both and put both in your binder, but it's great to have all of this stuff planned out in advance. Okay, so we'd have the full song here, and for our exercise today, let's pretend that our audition cut is going to be, this is wanting something, this is praying for it, this is holding breath and keeping fingers crossed until the end of the song. Okay, so it's the final 2 pages. That's all you need for this 30-second audition cut. You don't need all 7 pages of this song. So, once again, we can hide the sidebar. We can't see any of those pages, but if we click View Thumbnails, we get to see all of the pages laid out. We are going to delete anything that the pianist does not play during the audition. So we're going to start by selecting pages 2, 3, 4, and I think 5. Yep. And we are simply going to go delete. So they are gone forever. Again, this is our audition cut version, so we can cut away. Then let's take a look at the beginning of the audition cut. We're going to want to start, this is wanting something, but we will most likely want to have a bar of piano introduction. So we're going to include that measure, meaning we do not need that system. So once again, let's go to Markup. Let's make sure that we're using the color white, and we'll go back to our rectangle tool. And we're going to put a rectangle over the entire top system. Okay, now there's no guessing where you're going to start this audition cut. It's going to be right here. Just because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, let's also put a small block over the word known. Okay, and there's the start of your audition cut. It's going to go all the way through to the very end. Actually, even if you didn't want that stinger, you could do something like adding another box and just making the audition cut a tiny bit shorter. It's totally up to you. Okay? These little squares are just for you to block out, where does my audition cut start? Where does it stop? That's all the information you need to know. Okay? But let's also take a look at this first page. We definitely want to keep the title, the show, and the composer intact, but we don't need any of this. So we can once again take our rectangle tool and just cover all of that up. Okay? We might not even need that little tempo indication there because we'll write in something else here. Okay, so this is a really good starting point for the audition cut. We can of course add other markings that make the performance your own, like various dynamics and various tempo indications. But if you were to print this out, the pianist would see the title of the show, the composer, exactly where the audition cut begins, and exactly where it ends, and nothing more. So that is another way that you can use this software preview to help organize your audition music and even write your own audition cuts. So those are several different things you can do with preview to organize arrangements and to make audition cuts. Once your entire digital music library is organized on your computer, you can put it on your cloud device, make sure that you have a backup of everything, and easily send the music to your coach, to any of your accompanists around campus, and even to yourself if you are using a tablet as well. As soon as your digital music library is organized, it becomes so much easier to just print everything and build a really organized audition binder, a physical audition book. So make sure that as you start this process, you are acquiring clean copies of your PDFs, that you are organizing them and labeling them appropriately on your computer, and that you are sending them to your coach and pianist. From there, we'll make another one of these tutorial videos on the steps that I use to build an audition book.